We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. You are tuned into the Drive-In Speaker Box. It is February 26th, 2024. And I'm your host, Bo, the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
And Merle just subscribed on Twitch. Thank you. If you guys are just now downloading the podcast, wherever it is you download podcasts, Spotify's a good one. Or if you subscribe on Facebook or YouTube Live, where we air the show, simulcast it, you can also get on Twitch. We just finished up like a 45-minute Twitch pre-show. The pre-show was as long as this show's going to be. We covered so much information. We covered so many fun topics. If you want to be a part of that fun, get over there on Twitch, like and subscribe. It's a good time. So, yeah, we're here. We're going to talk about movies this week. Mm-hmm. And if you read the title of the podcast, I went and saw Drive Away Dolls.
And I went and saw Crack.
You saw Crack, or you smoked crack?
Saw Crack. There's a much longer title to it, but I'm not going to attempt to butcher
No,
the
go for
Hindi.
it.
Oh, gee, I didn't even write it down because I didn't want to even attempt it. It's like there's lots of J words, man. I don't know. I saw the new Hindi movie.
Well, there was a lot of J words in the movie that I saw, particularly the JJs.
All of our viewers are so excited for me to talk to them about the newest Hindi movies.
I'm sure they are. Well, while you look up that...
Jatiga to Jayega.
Jatiga Joji Tiega. That's my favorite pasta. Like, what is it? Jatiga Joe Gieda.
Yeah, Jatega Joe Jatega
Jenna
to
Ortega
Giega.
Joan of...
We nailed it, man.
Got 'em.
Multicultural.
God, I'm so cultural here. Well, that's what's going on tonight on the show. I want to shout out to some viewers on Twitch. We got a hype train going over on Twitch. Thanks, Andrew, for gifting a sub over to Timbo Sippy. Shout out to Timbo Sippy over there in Little Rock, Arkansas right now. Traveled, is about to take the bar exam, taking a moment, not studying, watching us. Shout outs there. Good luck tomorrow and Wednesday. But let's get into the news, because some stuff happened in the news. I see you have notes, Jake. You want to
I do. Well,
jump in?
Yeah, first I want to get the sad news out of the way. One of our viewers just posted in the comments leading up to the show that Ole Anderson, WWE, he was in all sorts of wrestling promotions. One of the original founding members of the Four Horsemen passed away today. So bummer there, especially as wrestling's making more and more headway into entertainment, outside of just wrestling. So that's sad and hard to find out here right before the show. But yeah, man, I got plenty more besides that, besides sad stuff. Where do I go from there?
I mean, do you need me to take over?
Okay. How about we've got a trailer for Horizon?
The Kevin Costner?
The Kevin Costner 4-film series, more than 11 hours worth of westerns.
Well, and it's also been like 20 years since he's directed anything.
Yeah, but the trailer for this looks really good. Have you seen it?
Horizon, an American saga.
Yeah, it looks sick.
I think all you need is a big mustache and a cowboy hat and a guy that sounds like this.
Well,
you're going to be signed up.
There's plenty of that, man. Lots of big actors, lots of cool scenes in the 3-minute trailer. Part 1 comes out in June. Part 2 comes out in August. Part 3 and 4 yet to be announced of when they'll be released. But it looks really good. And
does it look better than Waterworld?
Dude, Waterworld's a badass movie.
Dude, Waterworld is a bad. I wasn't
like
arguing. That's why the bar is high. When I said, "Is it better than Waterworld?" I'm like,
yeah, maybe just because I like westerns better than like.
Is it better than The Postman?
Yes.
Is it better than Tin Cup?
Yeah, golf's lame.
Is it better than
No offense if you like golf.
Was it? It's not Legends of the that was what's the Dances with Wolves?
I don't know how to answer that.
Is it
question.
better than Robin Hood?
Probably.
Is it better than other Kevin Costner movies?
It's
I can't
not
think
out
of.
yet,
Okay,
but the trailer
right.
is, and it looks really good. I'm excited about that. It'll probably be something that I'll like it so much in June. I won't be able to wait until August, so I do hate that part of it. But it is going to be all theatrical releases, so that's pretty exciting.
Jake, do you want some Applejack?
I sure don't, but I appreciate the offer.
You're gonna drink your Mick Ultra.
Well, no, that's
Infusions.
gross. I just wanted to try it.
This guy.
But talking about things not in theaters, Netflix had some news coming out. The CEO of Netflix, in a Time interview, said that he's very excited about Greta Gerwig's Narnia movies. Multiple movies.
Here's the thing. I understand why they want to do Narnia again. Did they not realize that it's a very Bible-centric movie to be handing to Greta Gerwig?
So, in the same interview, he said that Narnia is a tale of England's
The Bible.
fairy tales and fantastical things. He doesn't mention anything about
The Bible.
Yeah. How C.S. Lewis
It's
was
so
like Lion Jesus.
It's so the Bible that the only movie tie-in that Chick-fil-A has ever done in a kid's meal was Narnia, because the Bible.
Well, he said he's excited to see what Greta Gerwig does with it because of how she tells the stories of young adults or some nonsense. I don't know.
Okay.
I really liked the Narnia books.
And I like Greta Gerwig.
Because the Narnia books were really... The Magician's Nephew is very underrated. Everyone thinks of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but The Magician's Nephew, with like the creation of the world and like the roar into existence and like all the super badass stuff.
Narnia actually hits, man. Like it hits better than VeggieTales.
Yeah,
that's
man.
for sure.
What is it?
Although Bible Man smacks.
Horse and His Boy is really good. The Last Battle is pretty badass. We did not get a good movie of the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but Narnia is pretty sick. So hopefully she does okay. I don't have faith in that, but we'll see. And then also Netflix on that young adult train canceled their planned Percy Jackson spin-off series.
Oh man! So I haven't caught up with the new Percy Jackson. I watched the first episode,
The Kane Chronicles, and it's a spin-off. So it's now in purgatory. They've canceled it.
Percy Jackson's
but it's
so cool.
It's there for them to think about whether Percy Jackson popularity takes off.
The movie
out of
didn't
nowhere.
take off, even though it was pretty good. The show's having weak legs. Like, I don't know why. Like, Percy Jackson is a cool character. Like, it's better than Maze Runner, and like that was a whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the YA thing ran its course, but somehow that Hunger Games prequel ended up making money. I think because people were bored.
People are like, let's get back on the comic books are dead. Teen fiction's back. Let's get that money machine a whirring.
Maybe. It's all musicals now, man. Because Wonka's still making money. They got...
they're already working on a sequel. Director Paul Keene already working on a chocolatey sequel. It's with or without Timothée Chalamet. They don't even care. They're like, we're going to do it. Wonka's the name. Let's go.
The Witch movie is going to be out.
That's going to be good, though.
Wicked, yeah.
Before it disappears into the comments, I want to say it was Tony on YouTube asked about the Shogun Hulu miniseries, which, both of us love, well, pretty much anything Japanese history because we're huge nerds and we both have degrees in Asian history.
I'm not a nerd, but I do have degrees in Japanese history.
Beep. And we'll just push that up there.
I dislike weeb so much because I do have that background.
You hate us because you ain't us.
No, just hate them.
But anyway,
that's how they are.
But like Shogun is, of course, an epic miniseries. And then didn't it get remade already once?
I think it's only been made one time that I know of.
Well, this Hulu series looks pretty badass.
See, I'm on the opposite end of things. But that's only because of when they say it takes place and the costumes they have people wearing, and none of it jives. Because
Well, that could be true. I mean, I haven't really dialed in.
I went to school to be a Japanologist, and my area of that's exactly, I'm against that. My area
You just said Japanologist.
Yeah, because unfortunately that's what I went to school for, dude. Because I can tell you pretty much everying about Heian to
Edo
friggin'
and
Edo,
more.
Japan, yeah,
I know.
and some some Meiji stuff. But the whole thing is, it takes place. It says 1603 in the
Is it in the
trailer, right?
Tokugawa?
Well, so apparently it said 1600. It takes place in a year that's like the time of Sekigahara. It's between Toyotomi and Tokugawa.
And Toranaga.
What?
Is Toranaga in there?
Who?
Or maybe I'm getting my names crossed.
There's Toyotomi Hideyoshi,
Yes.
who was not a true shogun, but
No.
occupied the seat, and he's the one that invaded Korea and stuff because he was one of Oda Nobunaga's
Yes.
underling guys. He started out as a sandal bearer and rose
Yes.
up, which is why he couldn't be shogun because he didn't have the lineage of the Minamoto. And then there's Tokugawa that came afterward, after the
Tokugawa,
Battle
after-
of Sekigahara and all that stuff.
Yes.
And he was shogun.
We all know the Tokugawa period.
Exactly. So they're wearing costumes that are not accurate to
the period.
the Ashigaru in the period, and they have foreign ships coming in at that time of these battles, and none of it lines up and makes sense, and I dislike
And there's also
it.
no Richard Chamberlain
but there
or
is,
Toshiro Mifune.
No, but there is old Sanada Yukimura.
I know, that's where I get
Not
like
Yukimura Sanada. What's his name? Yukimura Sanada is a famous samurai. What is
Hiroyuki.
Yeah, there we
Hiroyuki
go.
Sanada.
There's a Yuki and a Sanada. Yeah, Hiroyuki.
But it does have John Blackthorne, played by Cosmo Jarvis. Tadanobu Asano is in this, who's also pretty badass. Hiroyuki Sanada, again, like in the pantheon of badassery, he's like up here. He's up here, actually. Like it's past our original camera view. Like that's where he is. And that's why I wanna see this, is because it's got some good casting here, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just the whole Hollywood taking another country's stuff,
But I feel like Hiroyuki Sanada wouldn't stand for that shit. I mean, so okay,
he played Scorpion, dude.
I mean, yeah, get over here, and there was a check on the end of that spear. But he was also in The Last Samurai.
He was Ujio in The Last Samurai, and he hit Tom Cruise in the face with that boken, dude.
Which Last Samurai, like, say what you will about Tom Cruise movies, that was a period accurate movie.
Yeah, it's based on 2 real events from Japanese history. Yeah,
It was an extremely period accurate movie.
I love The Last
That
Samurai.
movie is so good. If you want to see an accurate representation, a lot of people turn their nose up and they go, Tom Cruise couldn't be an inaccurate.
Or people that don't know real history are like, there's no way that this guy could come in and be a samurai. Yes, there was.
Yes, there was.
Look it up.
It's a real freaking thing. Anyway, Vince over on Twitch says, I heard from people who's seen the first 2 and they said it rules. They are not Japanologists, though. Mark on YouTube says, is this a weeb only podcast?
No.
He's lost.
Far from it. But hey, talking about Hollywood and weebs, did you see that Lionsgate?
Demon Slayer?
No, well, we'll get to that. I'll let you talk about that. But
Okay.
Lionsgate announced that they're doing a Naruto live action.
Live action.
A
Coming to theaters. Coming to
white
theaters.
people Naruto live action. And
That's
it
my
is-
Naruto run in a chair.
Yeah. It's being written and directed by the guy that wrote and directed Shang-Chi, because that was so...
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, but
It could
was
have
like,
been worse.
okay.
It was bad, but it
But this
could
time
have been worse.
They're going to make a live action Naruto, and it's gonna be a Hollywood thing.
These live action adaptations are really, really difficult for me to stomach. And I just started only episode 1 of the new live action Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm gonna watch some more of it tonight.
But that was a white people thing made by white people
I
for
know,
white people.
but it was still an adaptation of white people trying to make anime.
Yeah, but Naruto is like a manga made in Japan by a Japanese guy about Japanese folklore and culture and
I know,
ninjas and I don't want to see a white dude go, believe it.
I don't want to see that either.
Yeah, exactly. I never liked Naruto, but I can't see this being okay.
You'd
or
look good in a Naruto
watchable.
headband, I think.
Dude, Hachimaki are cool as hell. I don't know about having some dumbass Naruto symbol on there, but like a legitimate samurai armored Hachimaki.
Be cool. You know what another thing that Lionsgate is doing?
What's that?
This week? Lionsgate wants to do an American Psycho remake. And
Why?
I don't know, because that movie's not even that old. Like, Bret Easton Ellis literally still alive. The novel is only 25 years old.
Really?
They've already did an adaptation in with Patrick Bateman. The whole thing. It's still relevant today, but they're wanting to do another American Psycho remake, and I think that it's because a lot of American audiences and a lot of the people that it's the problem, okay, most.
How are you gonna beat Christian Bale?
You can't. You absolutely can't, because he was perfect for the role. But the problem is, Bret Easton Ellis's novels, like Bret Easton Ellis. If you've ever read any Bret Easton Ellis, like his books. Most people that watch Bret Easton Ellis movies have never read Bret Easton Ellis books. And I think that that's the problem is, he captures and is basically showing a very interesting picture of the people that love his shit and kind of calling them out on it, but they don't know. And people that are like, oh, yeah, I really love Fight Club. I really love American Psycho. I love, blah, blah, blah. I feel real counterculture and artsy because I love this movie, even though this movie is really about me and what a piece of shit I am. And they can't figure that out. And so I feel like Lionsgate's like, let's remake this because they're never going to read the book. They kind of know that the movie is cool because they've seen the memes of Patrick Bateman with the axe and the whole thing, and they know that. But the movie's old enough to where those people don't want to watch it because they're like, it's before my time. And they want to watch a new version of it that's catered to them, and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible.
You don't need to remake that movie.
No,
don't remake movies. Like, there's a meme that gets, or like a little repost that goes around on Facebook and stuff from time to time, and it says, why remake movies that were good when you could take a movie that failed at the box office or just missed the mark and you can remake it to be better and actually get eyes on it? So instead of taking something that people like and remaking it just for the easy money, why not take something and give it another chance by making it better instead of taking something good and making it worse? Looking at you, True Grit, why did you have
Why'd you make it worse?
We didn't need you.
Well, and speaking of making things worse, did you hear about this? I mean, J.K. Rowling, of course, all over the internet of being like,
She's talking about pieces of shit.
Jesus, she's just like, hey, trans people, and she's so, oh, God, J.K., just shut your mouth, J.K. Rowling. Just shut up. Just shut up like any other controversial artist that does something that everybody hates. Just shut up and take the royalties and let us just love the art, and then you just disappear and build a castle somewhere, drink coffee in Edinburgh, and go fuck yourself, like whatever. But there's a Harry Potter TV series in 2026.
Wait, so they're going to have the new movies on Max, but also a TV series?
Yes.
Talking about movies that aren't that old.
But they're bringing J.K. Rowling in, which I don't know is Fantastical Beasts and Where to Flush Them, like that was a thing that happened, and I don't know how much of her involvement was, but no. So Velvet Santa on Twitch, he just said Harry Potter is lukewarm garbage. I'm going to stop you right there.
I like Harry Potter movies, man.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. The first handful of books and the movies are great. You cannot convince me otherwise, because also I can separate the art from the artist.
I never read the books, but I absolutely enjoy the movies.
I've done both, and they're fantastic. They are fantastic for a lot of reasons. J.K. Rowling, despite how heinous her fucking worldview is, pardon my language, she's a fantastic writer, and she wrote like a cornerstone of teen fiction that changed the world forever, right? And I can appreciate that, and I can look at that and go, Harry Potter's cool. J.K. Rowling sucks. I can do that. I can go to bed at night going, J.K. Rowling sucks, but Expelliarmus, dude. Like, all day. And, this TV series, though, just feels like let something exist in a period of time where it was precious and where it mattered and where it made sense and where people grew up with it and they hold it sacred. It's like Star Wars. Harry Potter is the Star Wars of a generation that you might not understand, like Velvet Santa. Like, it's this generation's Star Wars. And they're bastardizing it in the same way that they bastardized Star Wars for us. And, when I see things like Warner Brothers just going, you know what? We're moving full speed with this new TV series. We're coming out on Max. We're gonna take this turnip and we're gonna squeeze it until everything comes out.
So they're doing movies and a TV series because they've announced for the last 2 years that they were gonna do movies again, remake Harry Potter movies, talking about movies that aren't that old.
Yeah,
It's
so ridiculous.
Why go through so much? I mean, unless they're going to have people cast spells besides Expelliarmus, because
there's
in the original run of movies, that's the only spell you ever get.
Oculus Reparo, there's Stupefy, there's Expelliarmus.
Yeah, but whenever they fight each other, it's always Expelliarmus, or they just don't say anything.
So there's a comment. Avada Kedavra, that's a good one. That's the death curse.
That's what I said.
You went,
yeah, I said, I did the Voldemort version.
That's because he didn't have a nose. He's like,
I never thought about it that way. It's because he had no nose. Yeah, he couldn't breathe.
He was just saying abracadabra. That's all it was. Abracadabra. And that's Avada Kedavra. It's just abracadabra with no nose. Vince on Twitch, he says, J.K. Rowling said they didn't have toilets. Wizard pooped and peed on the floor and used magic to disappear it. That's the only thing.
She did say that. She said before they finally were like, yeah, we'll take this stupid muggle invention, they would just find a corner, lift their robe, just duke on the floor, and then make it disappear. Yeah.
Poopacadabra.
Yeah, she straight up did say that. Yeah.
Oh, well, J.K. Rowling's insane. Don't listen to her. She wrote some good
that's
books.
Because people would ask her stuff on
Put her in the corner.
On Twitter, they'd be like, hey, what about this thing? And she goes, yeah, sure, that's how it went down. Because everyone's like, dude, what if Gandalf, not Gandalf, what if, what's his name? Help me out here.
Give me a hint.
The wizard, man.
The guy that played him? Voldemort?
No, dude, the
Harry Potter?
The professor wizard dude.
Gandalf?
No, dude.
You got it.
It doesn't matter. They're like, dude, what if this dude like swap spit with this other dude? And she's like, screw it. If you'll give me money, yeah, it happened. And then like every time someone would ask her questions, he's like, yes, yeah, who cares? And just she's the dumbest.
Well, anyway, that's a thing that's coming. So, do you have any other news before we get into
movies?
movies?
Yeah,
okay,
man. Talking about cool things from growing up for people. According to Get Your Comic On, in the Infinite Earths Part 2, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 animated movie, for the first time in 10 years, we're going to have Batman Beyond.
What?
Yeah, Will Friedle is returning to do the voice of Terry McGinnis. In A Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. I'm stoked. And according to this article, if there's some success here, there's little rumblings of getting another Batman Beyond movie.
We already missed the boat, man. We all know. Are Batman, we talking live action or animated?
Animated.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
fine. The live action got canceled because they were going to do it with Michael Keaton,
which would have been perfect.
Time went on, and COVID happened, and then Flash happened, and now that's never going to happen.
It would have been so perfect. It would have been so.
It would have been really good. But
we needed that instead of Flash.
Yes. Yeah. Terry McGinnis is the coolest, though. Will Friedle is incredible voice actor. I'm super stoked about it because I like Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond is cool, man.
Yes.
It's very cool.
Batman Beyond is very cool. So,
okay.
Super jazzed about that. So yeah, there you go. That was something exciting. I was holding on to the end.
Well, let's go to movie releases because it's that time. Let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this week.
I did play the 64 game.
Of what, Batman Beyond?
Yeah, you punched like a lot of trucks and dudes, and it was.
And you had like Bruce Wayne going like, "Stop doing that."
No, it was just you as Batman. You're like, whoa.
He had the little mini wings. And
Yeah.
The theme song to Batman Beyond is really cool too.
Yeah, it was Shui.
Shui?
Yeah.
All right, 2004.
That's what they said in the show. They were like, dude, that's Shui.
I remember. All right, well, let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this week because there is a new movie that is coming out in theaters this week. There is one. Okay, there's two. One, I don't think it's going to get in big. It's not getting a big release, but it does have Jonathan Lipnicki.
Really?
Do you? Yeah. You
I didn't know
remember
he still
Jonathan?
acted.
Well, apparently he is now acting.
He got rid of the glasses and grew up.
He went from Stuart Little to Jerry Maguire to now this. It's called Camp Pleasant Lake, and it looks like a terrible direct to Amazon Prime, buried in your recommendations if you watched a shitty horror movie in the past 5 years. It's called Terror Comes Home, Camp Pleasant Lake. The only reason I mention it is because it has Jonathan Lipnicki, a name I never thought I'd say again. But yeah, that's
cool. That's good for him that he's getting back into acting. If he's been away for a while, I haven't heard that name in a long time. But yeah, as soon as you said it, I'm like, yeah, he's the kid from Jerry Maguire, bro.
Yeah, he is. Show me the money. And I'm pretty sure that's what he said when the producers came to him and they were like, hey, do you want to be in this movie? He goes, show me the money. But the only movie that matters that's coming out this weekend is Dune.
Oh, man.
He threw his pen.
Dude, I was so upset because yesterday there was a preview showing. We had one showing of it in our Limax, and it was sold out in no time. And the only
yesterday
at 7 o'clock.
I could have seen it.
Yeah, there was a single IMAX theaters across the country did a one-time early preview showing of Dune in IMAX. Yeah. I know. I went to get my ticket, and it was like, you can sit in the very front, or you can sit in the second row all the way to the right.
Can.
And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not sitting at the very front of IMAX.
I feel like Dune, this movie, like, is getting more and more traction, than the first one had, right? Because, you know, Blade Runner had a difficult time because this Denis Villeneuve. Like, Denis.
Sure.
Like, he's an incredible director. Arrival, fantastic. Blade Runner 2049, fantastic. Dune, fantastic. Like, Sicario, pretty decent of a movie. Like, this dude does not make bad movies. He makes films, right? He makes the movies that make me have this podcast. Does that make sense to anybody here? Like, this is a guy that gets me excited about going to the theater. This is a guy that makes a film that makes me want to, like, experience film. And people are like, I never heard of it. I don't know what these words mean. What's a Dracus? And you're just like, ugh. You know, just give it a fucking chance.
Dude, I almost bought the beat-off bucket last night.
Why didn't you?
Well, then they only had the one.
If you tuned into the pre-show, I know why you wouldn't. You're like, well, here's the free Dune bucket. Take it home. Try it out. And you're like, I don't want to eat popcorn out of this.
I did call it I called it like the hand job bucket or the beat off bucket or whatever. And the girl to the cash register was like, yeah, nope, that's what people get it for. And I was like, cool, gross.
Well, so Dune Part 2. This movie is important for many reasons, okay? This movie is important for the fact that if this movie does well, then artistic, science fiction, fantasy film, and creative, intellectual, artistic writing and science fiction will have a chance.
I would agree with you there, except for the fact that every single person in this movie is some sort of insane level star.
Because he knows what he's doing. He's like, if I am going to make this movie, because the first movie,
it's not
arguably,
a movie of like up and comers. There's no like, it's
no.
not like a Star Wars with unheard ofs.
Dude, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, like Leah
Christopher
Seydoux,
Walken.
like Christopher Walken. I mean, it's Stellan Skarsgård. I mean, you got all of them. They're all here. Babs Omokson. They're like they literally everybody's in this movie, right? But that's where his genius comes into play, because he's like, look, this is not a very adaptable book. This is not easy material. The first movie, by most average American audience standards, was like, this is boring and nothing happened.
Dude, it was so good in the movie theater, though, because it was in the environment. You were in it.
But that's the thing is, like, what I told people that were like, nothing happened. And I go, I know, but get ready for the next one, because it's just going to, the next two are going to be like, bam! Because that's how the books worked. And
Frank Herbert's kid, I saw a thing about that. He was like, this is pretty good.
Ugh. And so good science fiction takes a minute, right? It takes a minute to open up your mind. It takes a minute to get you into a space that is not our own. You know, and especially science fiction that doesn't take place on Earth. Science fiction that takes place on Earth is easy because we have frames of reference. This is not. This is not that. Even though this is very much a story about humans and how we interact. You know, if you want to get nerdy, because one of my other degrees like involved taking apart science fictions and things like these. If you want to get super nerdy about it, this is a very human story. This is about Earth. This is about resource control. This is about capitalism. This is about dynastic families. This is about a lot of things that we experience in our day-to-day life on Earth. And you take it and you escalate it to this weird, amazing world where there's all these kind of crazy things that help you think about ideas that maybe you didn't think about until they were repackaged in a way that were so fantastical that you're able to pull your imagination away and go, man, what's up with this? But how does this relate to me and my world? That's what makes these books so good. And that's what made that first movie good, and it's going to make this movie even better. So I cannot be more excited about it.
I'm jazzed, man. I really, really liked the first one, and I have absolutely hated that I was under the impression this movie was filmed at the same time as the first one, but they had to go and film this one and put it through post-production, and now I'm finally getting to see it because it was 3 years ago.
I know, it's been a minute.
Yeah. So
Dune Part 2 coming out in theaters this weekend. We're going to go see it.
Yes.
It's going to be good. Yeah. So tune in next week. There you go. That's what happened. All right. Shall we review other movies?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You want me to get mine out of the way?
Sure.
My Hindi movie. So I went and watched Crack, subtitle Too Long to Remember, the new Hindi film that was out and available. It most notably has Arjun Rampal in it. He's the dude he was in Raw 1. He was the bad guy in Bhagavant Kesari most recently. And he was in some Shah Rukh Khan movies like Om Shanti Om and Don. And then it has like this martial arts action dude in the lead role. His name was Vidyut Jamwal. It's like a very 90s movie. It's like Brink meets I don't know what, Point Break type thing. So the whole deal is like it's an extreme sports movie. There's this guy and his brother. They're obsessed with extreme sports. And there's this most watched like TV show on the planet basically, and it's like life or death sports game that takes place at this thing called the playground, right?
The playground.
And their dream is to get to the playground because it's 3 races, and the winner of each race wins millions and millions of dollars. Each race, dividing the field of competitors in half, starting at 32, 16, 8, and then the winner, and each winner of each race wins a certain amount, but half the field qualifies for the next race. So this dude's brother is invited to it. He dies. This guy has to live with that, and he's trying to get there too so that he can win the money for his family, and that's like his call to glory or whatever,
Yes.
And he finally gets there, and he starts to learn things that like maybe his brother didn't die in the race at the very end, because the 4th race you get to race against the champion of the playground, and if you beat the champion, then this time it's appropriate, it is Bollywood. If you beat the champion, then you get double the money of all of it, right? But if you lose that race, you get nothing. But at any time during these races, you can be accidentally killed because they're extreme. You can, like, one dude's head gets run over by a go-kart and just splits like a melon.
Whoa.
You can get blown up. You can get attacked and eaten by wolves.
Whoa.
But at some point in this movie, that story just starts weaving all over the place. And it's not like one of those traditional like Indian movie like twist halfway point. This movie, I think, couldn't figure out what direction it wanted to go.
Vince asked, "Is it like Death Race 2000?"
Kind of a little bit, but
early Sylvester Stallone, you get to see his butt.
There's like so the playground is taking place in some unnamed European country that has like alpine cities. Where people are wearing scarves in their jackets, and it looks like Switzerland, but within driving distance is the most arid and dry and hot desert you've ever been to. And then within driving distance of that is a completely like a jungle forest, like a temperate rainforest. And it's like, what country is this in? It makes no sense. But the leader of this game is using it so that he can sell plutonium to terrorists so that he can buy his own country with their money, so that the playground will live forever.
Power his DeLorean.
And it's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie either, because every 35 minutes it makes a hard right turn or a hard left turn, and you're like, what the hell is going on in the story? And it goes from being a sports movie to being a revenge movie to being a mystery murder movie to being a plot twist left and right movie. It's dumb. It's not your usual Hindi Bollywood fare. It's not bad. It's at least somewhat entertaining, but it's by no means, just the biggest movie in the world. CRAKK. And it's crack because he's crack in the head, but also he's like
gotcha.
he's like, he can do it in a pinch. He's like he's the guy to call. It has some cool scenes. There's some cool stunts. The dude Vidyut, he's like a martial artist. There is a really cool fight scene in it at the end. But it's definitely like a no-brain movie, like Fast and Furious type thing. But it's pretty out of place because it feels like this movie should have been made 25 years ago. But it's there.
Get ready for the ride.
It's definitely like a Netflix feel to it, with out of place love stories and stuff. It's.
I need that haircut though.
Oh, dude, his hair's so bad. It's dumb, but it is something to watch. And I just feel like, Arjun Rampal was like, he got tricked into this movie because he's definitely the good actor in it, and you're like, why is he in this movie?
Look at all those rollerblades.
Yeah, they have to escape these hungry wolves and dogs that are but they're on rollerblades attached to some other person, but they lose if their cord breaks or if they get murdered by hungry dogs.
Okay, well, is that in theaters here?
It's in theaters. Yeah, I
Okay.
went and I watched it at the theater.
All right, well,
Because the only other option was what you're about to talk to us
I'm
about.
going to talk to you about Drive Away Dolls. Driveway Dolls. I'd show you the trailer, but we get flagged for that unless it's like a Hindi film. So, yeah, Driveway Dolls, directed by Ethan Coen, written by Trisha Cook and Ethan Coen. This movie, maybe you've seen it, maybe you've seen the trailer about it, maybe you're like, oh man, it looks like a really interesting caper with Geraldine Viswanathan and Margaret Qualley, and then Beanie Feldstein, the Joey Slotnick, who is like, he always...
No one knows these names.
No. He reminds me of, what's the guy in our Discord? Vince, they sent us a video of Paul Giamatti, like Joey Slotnick. Here, let me pull him up really quick on this.
Oh, he looks like Giamatti.
Like oh geez, this guy, he looks like Paul Giamatti, like all day Paul Giamatti.
He
this
looks
guy.
like Paul Giamatti and Zuckerberg combined.
Like had a baby, yeah, and he's like, I love Sweet Baby Ray's, and you know, like. This movie, man, it's this movie had no okay, let me rewind. This movie's about dildos. This movie is all about dildos. This movie is like the Pulp Fiction of dildos. It is this movie, like the trailer makes you think that this is going to be a Coen Brothers style caper with an ensemble cast, because you've got Pedro Pascal, you've got Matt Damon, you've got all these people in here. You're like, oh my gosh, these famous people are going to be in here. They're in it for 2 seconds. The rest of the movie is about dildos and lesbians. And like, you know, lesbians are cool, man. Like, I've seen some great, like, Thelma and Louise, fantastic movie about 2 lesbians learning that they want to be together. Like, grab my hand, Jake.
Are we about to drive off the cliff?
Like, grab it.
Is that what we're doing?
And we're just driving off the cliff. Like, that movie is about lesbians. You know, it's because it's not all about licking pussy like this movie was. It was more about the connection between these 2 women as they realized that they were each other's soulmates as they drove off that cliff, even though that Brad Pitt, like, had looked so good with his clothes off. This movie was about Matt Damon's cast of his penis, which was so great that they loved having sex with it because it was a dildo that was, I guess, worth a lot of money. And they picked up a car that had this. Matt Damon was a senator, and it had a package, like, literally and figuratively, I guess. Pedro Pascal was a dildo collector, I guess, and he had like a collection of famous dildos. And though Matt Damon,
like Plaster Caster.
I mean, yeah, that's a Kiss song that's about probably taking a cast of your penis.
Yeah, you don't know the story of that song?
I do know the story of this song, and very correct. So Matt Damon, who was a senator, apparently had a very fantastic.
Is that how they talked him into it? Matt Damon, we come be in the movie. We're buddies. Listen, and we're gonna just say that you got
a huge
your
dong
hanging
along.
dong hardcore.
And
you're gonna shoot for one day, and we're just gonna talk about your
you're gonna shoot for one day, but the
2
movie is
hours.
gonna be about you shooting forever.
Hey,
and thanks for the sub, Lojweb. And so the story is these 2 lesbians who are not together, but they're awkward friends. And this is something that I don't like when people from LA or New York, like the Coen brothers, write a movie that has somebody that's from Texas or Alabama or wherever.
We got the worst accent ever.
We talk about this a lot in Hurricane Heist.
Show yourselves.
Show yourselves. Well, Margaret Qualley plays this character in this movie. Her name is Jamie, and she gonna talk like this all the time. She talks about sugar sweet, go baby, it's like no Southern person in the history of y'all has ever talked like this character has. She's a cotton picking, like dildo flailing, like pussy licking, like get out of here crazy. Like she's just like a ne'er-do-well of cunningness. Like that's what she does. Like that, she just runs up and she's like, I had sex with this girl, and I had sex with the soccer team, and I had sex with this, and I had sex with this. And then Geraldine Viswanathan is marrying her like Middle Eastern, like very, very stuck up friend who's like, I don't know about all of this vagina, even though I'm a lesbian. And it's like my mom is in the channel and she's very uncomfortable by all this. But this is a weird movie. And like, I thought this was going to be a caper. I thought, what's in the case? What's in the case? They take so long.
The trailer makes it seem like it's drugs or money.
Yeah, it's dildos. It's literally 4 dildos of famous people, one of them being Matt Damon, who is a famous senator. And they go around. There's this like team of guys that are trying to like chase down the case. And then they open the case and it's a dildo and they have sex with the dildo. And they're like, oh, well. And the two, it's a story about 2 friends that are lesbians that are like, we're just friends. It's not like that. It turns into one of that bullshit rom-com like tropes where like, we're only friends. It would never go this far until it does. And we have a senator's penis dildo and we use it on each other. And now we're going to get married. And it's as Vince said, 4 dildos in a duffel bag.
The movie I watched doesn't seem so bad now.
I mean, my problem with this movie is like the Coens are very adept at writing and they're very adept at character creation, and they didn't do it here. And that's like, I felt like they didn't know what they were like. There was an agenda they needed to hit, because I don't have a problem with any theme that was going on here, but there was nothing going on here. It was this coming of age comedy between 2 lesbians and the lesbian ex-girlfriend who was played by Beanie Feldstein, who's always hilarious. She was super hilarious in this movie. I don't know why she hasn't been in more movies. I think she is. Can we get some up and comer emojis in the Twitch? She has been in so many cool things. And I think
she was in What We Do in the Shadows.
She's in What We Do in the Shadows. She's super, super funny. But she was the highlight of the movie. Everything else was just kind of this, you want a Coen Brothers style scenario where everything works out wackily in the end, but the only whacking was the dildos. And it just didn't stick the landing. It just stuck the suction cup on the wall. That was the only thing that it stuck. And because dildos have the for people to. Anyway, all right. I told you we were going to talk a lot about dildos. Did you hear that? That sounded like an explosion. We heard an explosion, you guys.
It was, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, our internet might die at any minute if that was a Transformer explosion. But yeah, Beanie has been in Booksmart. She was in Lady Bird. She was in Neighbors 2. She was the highlight of this movie. And by the time this movie ended, the MacGuffin of I just referenced the movie Pulp Fiction, the case, the reveal of the case, the like, ooh la la, why are these people chasing this case? Why are these hitmen out to get her? Why are they traveling across the country? Why are they going to Tallahassee? None of these questions really get answered. And I feel like they were trying so hard to be edgy in the fact that there was a lot of lesbian sex scenes, which at this point it's 2024. Like, what does that matter? Like, maybe if this movie took place in the 90s, which this movie took place in, because not everybody had cell phones, so that is a plot point that makes sense. Okay, lesbians were like, oh man, but it's 2024. Like, I see lesbians every day. Some of my best friends are lesbians. Like, I don't understand what the MacGuffin is of them going, we're lesbians. And I felt like they leaned too much into this and didn't do any sort of character development, which is sad because the Coen brothers, well, the brothers, this is just Ethan Coen, are so good at. And I felt like this just tried too hard to be wacky and edgy. And then the edginess only ended up in dildos. And they were all huge, which of course made me feel bad. Like, why do all these dildos have to be huge? Why can't we have just average sized dildos? Jake, the pre-show.
I was here for the pre-show. I was here.
Why can't we just have average sized dildos, guys? Girls. A good 5.5 to 7. Like, that's all we need. We don't need these 8-inch honkers. Like, nobody really wants that. Do you really
This
want
is not about movies anymore.
This is about this movie. Do you know how many rubber dicks I had to look at in this movie?
Well, there's a reason that no one else went to watch this movie, I feel like.
Okay, well.
Sounds like several reasons why no one else wanted to see this movie.
This is what the movie was about. Okay, well, this movie's out in theaters. It was okay. Like, it was fun for what it was. I think that it didn't really make a lot of sense. It didn't feel like a Coen Brothers caper. It didn't hit all the points that we wanted, and all the jokes were reliant on lesbian sex and dildos. And I felt like the joke got old pretty quick. So there you go. Okay. Velvet Santa, you saw it? You put on pants and saw it? So, all right. Well, there you go. It's time for the box office roundup.
Yeah, let's do that because I feel like now all of us need some Jesus. And so coming in, I don't like this angle. I don't
This
like
is
whatever this
the
is.
Jesus angle.
No, this is bad. Let's go
Let's
back
do
to
the box office roundup.
Let's
Jake.
go back to the normal camera, please.
What about this
Come
one?
on, man.
What about this one?
There's too much Applejack going on. All right, there we go. Coming in at number 10, The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 4 through 6, in its second week out from Fathom Events. $1.8 million brought in by that one. Nearly $8 million at the box office. Again, that one's all crowdfunded, so every dollar they make at the box office is profit. So that's good for them.
Jump in on Zimmerhammer. He said, was Lisa Frankenstein better? Yes. And it did have severed dicks where they sewed it on and gave it lightning so they could have sex with the severed penis. There's a lot of like severed penises in
There's a theme in the
theater
movies
right now.
that you're going to.
But Lisa Frankenstein was better.
And then coming in at number 9, The Beekeeper, 7 weeks out, brought in another $2 million this past week, bringing its domestic total up to $63 million for it. And then opening at the number 8 spot, your Rubber Ding Dong movie, Drive Away Dolls, $2.4 million is all that it
Which
brought
is
in.
a really bad opening. Number 8.
Yeah.
They were hoping for a lot more, but it's a little bit of flaccid of an opening.
Yep. And then coming in above it, family friendly, far away from this movie, Wonka, $2.5 million brought in by that one, bringing its domestic total in 11 weeks up to $214.5 million in the U.S. alone. Wonka has made so many dollars.
It's in the $500 million club at least, but it's way over.
Almost $620 million across the world. And then just above it at number 6, dropping from the number 3 spot, Argyle, $2.8 million brought in by it, just under $42 million in its 1 month out in the theaters. 86.5 across the globe, not at all near enough to make money for that yet. Probably not going to happen. But then hanging in the top 5, Migration.
I still need to see this. I need to see this just for the Duck L'Orange joke.
Yeah, if it didn't have all, what's her name? Aquafina.
Aquafina, yeah.
$3 million brought in by that one. $120.5 million in the U.S. $270 across the world for that one. It's been out for 10 weeks and it's still in the top 5. So good for it.
10 weeks in the top 5. That's a long time.
That is. And it was one of those that looked like it wasn't going to make it past its first week and be kicked out of theaters by its mandatory 2. But there it is, still hanging in there. But speaking of things that aren't hanging in there in its second week out.
Are we talking about Drive Away Dolls?
No. Number 4, Madam Web brought in $6 million this past week. Only $35 million brought in by it in 2 weeks. 77.5 across the globe. There's no way that movie's even going to think about cresting into profit territory. And then coming in above that one, opening at the number 3 spot, starring Alan Ritchson, Ordinary Angels, because again,
well, have you seen the
you
new
need Jesus, man?
Have you seen the new movie that he's in with the Guy Ritchie and Jerry Bruckheimer?
Yeah, that looks sick. Where they're Nazi hunters.
Shit, that movie looks good.
That movie looks really cool. I can't wait to see that one. $6.5 million brought in by Ordinary Angels. Good for everyone involved in that. If you want to go see some sort of uplifting Christian story, that's your thing, that one's out there. Alan Ritchson, super cool dude. I like everything he does for the most part.
He's a cool dude. He has
outside of-
dedicated his life to getting so freaking ripped that he gets into these roles.
Yeah, you know that he was like a vigilante in real life one time. There's a interview with him where he talks about like he stopped a car vandal in Canada or something. It's pretty cool. And then coming in at number 2, you forgot to mention it in the news. You said something and didn't get back around to it.
Because it's the savior of theatrical releases.
Demon Slayer
Kimetsu no Yaiba!
to the Hashira training. $11.6 million in the U.S., $28.25 million across the globe, and it's opening week. Not bad. For an anime.
So here's the thing: is like these studios, Funimation, Sony, other places like this, are realizing that people will go out to the theater to see things that they want to see on a big screen. Anime is one of those things, and you know, what if it was like One Piece? Anime.
I did go watch One Piece Red. I talked about that for the show. And I went to see Dragon Ball Super Hero.
That's right. Anime on screen is tight.
Neither one of those were.
But you went, and it's tight. So, yeah. Anyway. I don't know why this button's not working. Oops. Okay. Continue.
And then coming in above Demon Slayer at the number 1 spot, holding the number 1 spot, One Love, the Bob Marley movie, 13.5 million brought in by it, 71.2 in the U.S. so far, 120.6
it's doing
across the globe.
Extremely well for a second week release. It's doing very well overseas.
It's coming at a time where there's not really.
Oh, I meant to bring it in. I got one of the One Love like little movie promo deals from AMC. I was going to bring it to the set. So,
yeah.
But if you want to hear us talk about it, it was on the show last week.
Yes. Yeah. You went and watched it and
I did.
Told us all about it. And who would have thought that a Bob Marley movie would just be killing it at the box office in 2024?
Well, because Bob Marley, I know you don't listen to Bob Marley.
That's true. Yeah, I can't do the reggae, man.
But it's pretty cool, man. Bob Marley's all right. Like, is this a MIDI file? It's supposed to be. Yeah.
Is that gonna get us shut down?
No, this is
who made the movie? Was it
this
Sony?
Is MIDI. Here we go.
Did it say it was Sony that did it? Because Sony will get you.
MIDI files. This is like the saloon version, like the silver. Get together, we'll be alright.
This is gonna be in that new Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah, Kevin Costner's gonna be in like talking about Zion and Ja and I. Well, that was the top 10.
That was the top 10.
So you heard it here first, or maybe second, or maybe I don't know what podcast you listen to. You can listen to whatever you want, but you should like and subscribe to ours. You can find us wherever it is you download podcasts. You can download it on Spotify, on TuneIn, on Apple Music, on Google Music, on whatever .fart.clownbutt like that you download. Like
Clown butt.
Do you not remember the old Saturday Night Live? Like it was the law office. It's my favorite. I wanted to buy this because I like to buy
some weird domains.
I love buying weird URLs, and I've always wanted to buy www.clownpenis.fart because there was a URL like at the .com boom. The Saturday Night Live did a one of those fake commercials that they do, right? And it was a law office. It was very serious. And it was like, at the offices of Johnson & Johnson and whatever partner law office, you can visit us on our new website at www.clownpenis.fart. And like, it was one of the, like, it was a core memory for me. I don't know why, but I've always wanted clownpenis.fart. So,
Dude, if .fart's a domain.
It's not yet. .ninja is. .pizza is.
Ninja?
I have a .ninja. I have a .pizza. I have a lot of.
Is it for like ICP fans? Like just all the.
How do magnets work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do magnets work? .ninja.
.fart. .fart's not a thing, but it will be. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit us up on Twitch. That's the fun one. That's the one where we see the most dollars when you subscribe. They come directly to us. Not YouTube, not Facebook, not Spotify. Right here. And also, as Vince just jumped into the Twitch, if you want to get into Monday movie night, it is Monday, it is movie night. You can jump on the Discord after the show and check out the movie we're going to be streaming. Vince is going to be hosting a movie watch party. You can jump right over there. He's got the link in the chat. And the movie is a surprise. So we're going to be streaming that movie. We're going to be watching it together. It's going to be a good time. So you can jump in on the fun right there. Any other things you want to say, Jake, before we're done?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, that's it.
As you leave the theater,
See you
folks,
guys.
We'll see you next week.
please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.